What's going on, everybody? You're listening to the Point2Point NHL Recap Show, Season 3, Episode 13. I'm Pascal Proud, joined by Mark Haverlack. Mark, before we get into things, how was your holidays? I know we've had a little bit of a break here. It was the holiday season. We got New Year, Christmas, a bunch was going on. How was it for you?
Yeah, dude, pretty good for the most part. No complaints. I felt like it kind of just like flew by. I can't believe Christmas is already like 10 days ago at this point. But yeah, dude, just kind of hanging out, spending some quality time with the family and some friends overall, just watching the World Juniors. And yeah, honestly, too, we probably won't get into it, but did you see the ending of that football game last night? I was kind of watching it while I was watching the end of the World Junior game, but that was fucking insane too. How was your time in Calgary? I know you were. Did you end up going to a game? I know you were planning on going to one.
Yeah, I went to the Bruins versus Flames game. It usually is myself and all my cousins that go. This year, and my sister too. This year, my sister didn't go. My sister got like pretty sick when we were in Calgary, so I think for like 4 or 5 days she was just staying at the cabin we have there and didn't even leave it. So that kind of sucked. But no, the game was fun. I I'm with you, man. Like it flew by. It was pretty hectic. I have a pretty brutal travel story actually. So when we were
Dude,
flying out to,
you get caught in the worst
I
plane.
know,
Is this another
crazy.
airport story?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I don't know what my luck is here with travel and planes and
For
stuff,
people that
but
don't know, Pascal was at the airport when that plane flipped over at
yeah,
Pearson last year, and your flight wasn't it delayed like 8 hours or something like that.
yeah, 8 hours. And then in the summer when I was in Portugal, that's when the Air Canada strike was. So I was stranded there for a week. But yeah, so this time we're flying out on the 23rd of December, right? And on the 24th of December, that's when we do the whole dinner with my mom's side of the family, and we're the ones that host it, right? So like we do all the cooking, or we got to be like prepared, have the cabin there ready. So we're flying out December 23rd at the flight left at like 6:50 Eastern time, something like that, right? So we left our house here in Waterloo at 4 o'clock in the morning, go to the airport, and our flight is gets delayed. They come on, make an announcement. The flight could not land in Waterloo and had to go to Hamilton to land. And then eventually the flight got canceled because they couldn't bring the plane from Hamilton to Waterloo. So we're like, holy fuck, like what do we do now? Like might not get to Calgary until like the fucking 26th or something, right? Because it's the 23rd and there's no other flights out of Waterloo. So we're scrambling around. We find a flight out of Toronto, and it was Toronto to Edmonton and then Edmonton to Calgary. So we rushed to Toronto, get to Pearson, ended up doing that. But from when we left our house at 4 in the morning, we did not get to our cabin in Calgary until 11 p.m. Eastern time. So what is that, like 19 hours of travel or something? It was
Fuck, dude,
pretty
that
brutal.
sounds
Yeah.
brutal.
One, it was like it's usually like a 4 hour thing. We're expecting to be there by 10 a.m. and then we end up getting there at 9 p.m. like Western time. And then the worst part was since we were hosting Christmas Eve the next day, like my mom was up till like 12 o'clock, like getting all this like cooking done and stuff. It was a tough first day there with the travel. So overall though, holidays were fun. Despite the travel, it's good seeing family and going out west there. Mark, let's get into the big news here for today's episode. It's all international hockey talk, similar to our last episode. We're going to start off with the World Juniors. The finals are going to be played tonight between Sweden and Czechia. Czechia is guaranteed to keep its medal streak alive for a fourth year in a row, and this year they're hoping to win gold, while Sweden is looking to win gold for the first time since 2012. Mark, what are your predictions here for the gold medal game?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm still not over kind of the whole way that went down last night. As much
Yep.
as I felt that Czech played super well and probably deserved to win the game. Like it was, I don't know if you feel the way. I feel a little bit heartbroken right now, dude. I felt like this was
Hmm.
potentially our year to get back and win it again, especially how we talked about, and even I said that I didn't think USA had the team to go back once again. But dude, I got a weird feeling Czech's going to win tonight. I think that I have a feeling that this is their year now. I know I was super high on Sweden going into it, and I had a feeling that they were going all the way to the finals. But this Czech team is playing really hard, man. They've
Yep,
got a
they
lot
are.
of talent on their team. They're pretty well rounded, and they grinded Canada down yesterday. And I think if they are able to do that to Sweden today, they've got a pretty good chance at winning this thing. But the way I'm looking at it, regardless, I think it's going to be a really good game. Like, as much as that sucked yesterday as a Canadian fan, dude, that was 2 epic semifinals in my opinion.
Oh yeah,
Like that fucking first game, 8-round shootout, like was probably even better than the outcome of the Canada game. Like, dude, it was like 4. Like I remember I saw today someone was pinpointing. I don't know if you remember the play. Canada was shorthanded. Hage went down. It was like a 2-on-2. Stopped, ripped a shot, and McKenna like kind of didn't really go for the rebound. Yeah. And I looked at the clock and I was like, there was 3.5 minutes left in this game, and it was 4-3. And the game ended what? Was it 6-4? Like, I was like, the ending to this game was fucking nuts. Canada ties it. You think you're going to OT, and then once again, Czech breaks our hearts for the 3rd year in a row within the last 90 seconds of the game. I like this Czech team, dude. I think this is one, or if not the better Czech teams they've brought to World Juniors this century. They've got 15 CHL players on this team. I think that a lot of them are drafted or set to be drafted. And I was even talking to my buddy about this. Like, you look at Czech going to the Olympics, right? Like, even last year, they didn't have a 4 Nations team because it was NHL players, and they didn't have enough bodies technically to ice a full roster of NHL players. And even this year, they're going to have to get some guys that are probably playing in Extra Liga or somewhere else in Europe to fill out their Olympic team. Maybe not by next Olympics, but let's say 2034. Do you not feel like they'll be able to ice a full team of NHL players?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt, I think that. Like, I think even when you look at the World Juniors landscape, like, I'd say Czechia is like right on Finland's ass basically to kind of overtake them for maybe that 4th top dog right now, right? Like, when you kind of talk about it, it's like Canada, USA, Sweden, Finland are the big 4, and then kind of Czechia is maybe just on the outside looking in. But I think Czechia now, like what they've proven, not only this year, but like going back the past 5 years at the World Juniors, like they've won a medal the past 4 straight years, right? And they've beaten some big teams. They've beaten Canada, what, 3 years in a row now, in devastating fashion for us Canadians. Like, I think without a doubt, 2 Olympics from now, Czech is going to be able to put together a full roster.
Oh, dude, it might even be next Olympics. I might even be overselling it, to be honest with you, because some of these guys now could be in the NHL, maybe even if they're in the AHL, you know what I mean? But I think it's going to happen pretty soon. And honestly, like, one thing, like, people forget, like, dude, this team was this close to winning the gold medal a couple years ago, and Bedard and Dylan Gunther and Mason McTavish made that unreal goal line save. Like, they would have had a gold medal. And it's almost like Russia left because of the political reasons, and Czech, like, they obviously weren't as good as Russia instantly, but it's like, it almost feels like ever since that moment, they've stepped up, and every year they're getting better. And it's like, I'm almost putting them, like, honestly, you could say maybe they passed Finland, maybe they haven't, but I think we need to start until Russia comes back in. I honestly think it's a 5-headed juggernaut right now. Like, I'm putting Czechia in that tier now. Like, I think we were talking about it before the tournament. It's like this team's going back to the finals and getting a guaranteed medal. Like, I honestly think they've done enough to put them in that top tier because they've got a hell of a team. They've got so many talented players. Like, dude, do you know the one guy I cannot fucking believe is not drafted is that Thomas Galvas kid, that defenseman who's been running their power play
this year.
Like, Mike Johnson compared him to like a lighter version of Lane Hudson in the first game of the tournament. And I was watching this guy all tournament, and in my head, I'm like, that might be a little bit of insane of a take. You know what I mean? But the more I watch him, I'm like, he's fucking right. This kid is so talented. And I'm seeing all these analysts going back, like Scott Wheeler and whatever. They got him ranked like 65th, 70th in the 2024 draft. Doesn't get drafted. They have him ranked in the 2nd round last year. Doesn't get drafted. Someone's going to have to take a flyer on this kid, dude, because he's a guy that I think that could run a power play. And even fucking Seahawks, or however the hell you say his name, Wojtek Seahawks, fuck, dude, that guy's been giving me nightmares, dude. He was drafted by LA in the 2nd round last year, scored the game-winning goal yesterday, the empty netter. Dude, there's going to be a lot more Czech players in the NHL in the near future. Maybe they're not going to be studs, but they're going to be able to fill a whole roster, and it's almost like to the point that if we did another Four Nations, like they'd be able to fully fill out a team of players that are in the NHL or
Yeah.
affiliated with the NHL.
Well, it's
I,
like, go ahead.
go ahead, because I kind of wanted to change to Sweden. So
Like back to your whole point that they'll be able to fill a whole roster of NHLers. Like even just looking at this World Juniors team, right? Like I'm looking at this World Juniors team, and honestly, I think there's probably at least 5 to 6 future NHLers on this World Juniors team alone, right?
oh no, I think more.
And I think I
I
like,
think honestly closer to 10. Like I'm not saying
yeah,
high impact players, but listen, I would say at least 10 players on their team are playing 100 NHL games. That's what I
yeah.
would say.
Seeing what maybe let's say these guys are in the league in 4 years, it's like that's right around the next Olympics, right? So maybe the next Olympics is a bit too soon, where they can't have a full roster of NHL players, but like it'll be close. It'll for sure be close. And by the Olympics after that, like I have no doubt that they will have more than enough players to put together a whole roster of NHL players.
And before we kind of move to Sweden, like, dude, I don't know if people realize this. Adam Yeko, he's a
Yeah.
third round pick by the Blues a couple years ago. Did not play in this tournament because he was on the team pre-tournament. Slipped in the parking lot on ice, broke his hand, not playing. Their goalie, that Orshalack guy, he wasn't their starting goalie. Jakub Malota was supposed to be their starting goalie. Now he's drafted by Nashville. He plays in the queue. He got hurt in early December. I think Orshalack looks pretty good, and I mean, maybe it wouldn't have been that much of a difference, but they're also missing a couple key guys here.
Yeah.
Like, this wasn't supposed to be their starting goalie. Adam Yeko scored the winning goal to knock Canada out of the quarterfinals last year. Like, these are another couple guys that could be potential NHLers that aren't even on the team right now.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the progression of this team and this nation and the hockey world going forward. Mark, moving on and kind of looking at Sweden's side for tonight's matchup, but also for the game. What do you kind of think about them?
I honestly think they're a solid team, dude. I look at them from top to bottom, and I'm like, they've got the high end talent. They've got guys that are talented, that are willing to play or shift their current role to be successful. I am a big fan of their goalie, Luve Herenstam. He's been kind of on the radar since he was 16 years old of being a pretty good goalie prospect, and he ended up going in the fifth or sixth round last year. But I find he's a battler, and it's like, but like up front, it's like Frondell. You got Vigo Bjork. Fucking Stenberg might be going first overall this year. Who knows? They're probably a top 3 pick. Dude, I love Jack Berglund. I look at Jack Berglund, and you know what I see? I see Adam Lowry. I think that Jack Berglund for the Flyers in the future is going to be a solid third line center that might be playing 1,000+ games in the NHL. That's what I see out of Jack Berglund. And honestly, I see a little bit of like Jordan Staal in him too. Like that big guy who's strong, can shut guys down, captain material. But man, how crazy was I can't believe Vigo Bjork didn't deke one fucking time yesterday. But to be fair though, he is a hell of a fucking player, and I had him about ranked 20th last mock. I'm gonna be honest, dude. He's near or if in my top 10.
The craziest thing about Bjork yesterday too was that he was the one that took the penalty at the end of the game, right? That put Finland on the power play, and then he has 4 chances in OT to end it on breakaways. Just couldn't get it past Rimpinen, and then even in the shootout goes back to the shot. Like he had 5 opportunities there to put the puck in the back of the net and shot it every time, and not once did it work out. But I agree with you. Like he is one hell of a player, and he has looked good at this World Junior so far. Like for me, when I look at the Sweden team, it's kind of similar to what you said. Like they have the top end talent, and then they also have a pretty complete roster. For me, like honestly, I think in tonight's game, I'm going. I'm going to say 6-4 Sweden. I think that's what the ending's going to be. 6-4 Sweden.
I'm kind of thinking it might be a little bit more tight because the semifinals were very. I felt like both games were pretty open and there were a lot of chances. I'm kind of more thinking like a 3-2, but you think Sweden, eh? Yeah, they
Yeah.
can they can definitely do it. They've got the team. They're super talented. The one guy too. I don't know if you really noticed him a whole lot. Um, I knew about him when he got drafted, but I wasn't super familiar with him. You know that kid on D who's been running their power play? I think Alphonse, his last name is like
What's
Freige,
his name?
Freig,
Yeah.
or Freij. He's a
Yeah.
very shifty player. I think he's drafted by the Jets, if I'm not mistaken. But he's kind of surprised me a little bit this tournament too. Kind of a guy that I didn't really know a whole lot about besides being like a top 60 pick in his draft. But I'm honestly, it sucks Canada's not playing this game, but I'm very interested to watch. I do hope for the sake of it that, like, I kind of want both teams to win in the sense, like, if Sweden loses, there's always going to be those question marks about them getting so far and blowing it. But at the same time, I feel that Czechia deserves it, and their
Yeah.
time is almost coming. You know what I mean? And you never really know what can happen. They're both really good teams, but man, I just can't get over. I thought Canada was at least going to the finals this year, man.
Mark, before we move on to the best players of the tournament, I want to ask you, what are your thoughts been like thoughts on the refs been this tournament? Because yesterday in both semifinals games, like I felt like there was moments where it was like, ooh, this call could really change the game, and like I don't know if that's enough maybe to give that a penalty. I feel like we've seen that in
Right.
both
When
semifinals games, and even back to the round robin, I think we've seen a bit of questionable calls. Like, what have your thoughts on the refs been?
Yeah, it's been kind of back and forth. The one thing I will say is I feel like we talk about this shit every tournament. Like, you know what, every World Juniors, like I
Yeah.
feel like it's always a topic of conversation just because of how different it is. Man, I'm just trying to remember, was it Bjork's OT penalty when the D pushed him slightly into the goalie?
Yeah, and he went
Or
for
was that a different game? Like, dude, I could not believe they called that. I'm like, you're calling that an OT? Like he didn't even really do anything. Like I don't know if
yeah.
it was it that game, or I don't know if I'm thinking about a quarterfinal game.
No, it was last night's game. It was he was kind of in front of he was in front of the net and he stopped, but then the Finland defenseman cross-checked him in the back, and then of course he kind of braces himself, so puts his hands on his stick and goes into the goalie, and then
Yes,
they called it a cross-check.
but wouldn't that have been? Isn't that a better outcome than him trying to flop and land on the goalie? Like
Yeah.
he kind of cross checks the goalie. To be honest, I more look at it as like he guided him with a stick. Like I don't think he fully extended and like cross checked the goalie. In my opinion,
I
I
don't think
I
he
think it's more
extended
his
at all
hands
even,
were in
yeah.
that position. Like I look at that as a goalie, and I'm like, to be honest, I would prefer him to do that than to fucking fall on me.
Yeah. Well, and it's like I don't think it was a cross check at all because like he didn't extend his hands at all. Like his hands were on his stick normally, and like if you get cross checked from behind and you're gonna go fall on top of the goalie, like I feel like your natural reaction is gonna be to put your stick up like that to brace yourself, right? Like it's one thing like if he extends his arms and you can see the cross check, but like he
And the
didn't
goalie
extend
goes
his
out of
arm.
the crease, or yeah.
Yeah, like his stick was on his own chest when he cross-checked the guy. Like I don't get how it's a cross-check. And like thankfully it didn't end horribly where like Finland scores with a minute left in the game to win it or something. But like I'm just looking at it, I'm like, that's a call where there could have been like a serious outcome. Even like 5 minutes earlier in the game yesterday, what was it? The guy on Sweden cross-checks the Finnish player. The Finnish player gives him like a little slash on the shin pads, and then he dives into another atmosphere, and like only the Finnish guy's getting the penalty. I'm like, and even on the broadcast, they're saying like, look, like you gotta call, you either call none of them or you call both of them. Like you can't be giving Sweden a power play here with 5 minutes left in the game. And for me, I guess where I look at this and it kind of where I see the worries is there's been a lot of times over this tournament, and even going back World Juniors last year and a couple of seasons ago, it seems like there's been a lot of calls where it's too close to deciding a game. And I get it's a different rule book and you're a bit more strict in double IHF, but I look at it and I'm like, man, we got the Olympics coming up, and the Olympics is double IHF rule book, right? Like I do not want to go from having the Four Nations face off last year and how awesome it was to go into the Olympics and have it where it's just penalty after penalty after penalty, and you have refs just deciding games here and there. You know what I mean? Because already it's like you can't fight in the Olympics, so that's already kind of gonna suck a little bit for us hockey fans there. But I don't even want to see it where it's like, oh, there's a scrum after a whistle between Canada and USA, and all of a sudden it's a 3-on-3 or a 4-on-3 because you got penalties here, there, and everywhere. You know what I mean? That's just kind of where I'm looking at it. But
So are you saying that you're scared that this is going to happen, or you think it's going to happen, or both?
kind of a little bit of both. Like I'm not saying it's for sure gonna happen, but it is definitely creeping up in my mind. Kind of like, oh, hopefully the
You
Olympics
want to
aren't
know my
wrecked by all this
opinion?
officiating. Yeah, what is your opinion on this?
It's going to happen.
See,
So
and like that's where I'm like, fuck.
that's why I was sort of hesitant to take Tom Wilson. I'll
Yeah,
be honest. He
yeah,
deserves it, and it's nothing against him, but I think that he's going to have to sort of control himself.
and it's gonna be hard because it's like, from what we've seen here, it's like you do like the smallest thing wrong, it could be a five in a game, right? Like it's a very
The
hard line
one
to walk.
when you started asking me the question about how I thought the reffing was, I kind of started thinking right back. I mean, yesterday there was some odd calls. I felt like, but I kind of thought back to earlier in the tournament when Perek got hit into the
Yeah,
glass and they called the five. In the moment, I was like, "This is a board." His head kind of hits the glass hard, but it wasn't the main point of contact. But
yeah,
that matters in the IIHF. Even
yeah,
them, their head hitting the glass. And then I was kind of surprised when they called a five because I was like, I don't think they'd call a five in the NHL, but obviously it's different. But then I was also like, he did leave his feet, which probably implicated it. But then the next game, I was watching and I'm like, dude, Danford got smoked.
yeah. I did.
Like, I don't know how the fuck that was not. I'm sorry, and I know you're a Perek guy, but if they're calling the Perek a five, that is easy a five. Like
Yeah,
I was literally waiting. I was like, they're calling a five. There's no chance they're not. Like, this is the IHF, and they didn't. I was like, what? That's what I just don't really understand about this, dude. And even last year, it was like Cole Beaudoin had that knee on knee, which I didn't think was that bad. He kind of was like leading his knee the whole time when he was hitting, never changed the direction or course of his knee. Then the guy just randomly goes into it, falls over, and then it was like the last 2 minutes of that game, Andrew Gibson took a penalty and he got a trip. And I'm like, he fucking need him. That was so bad. Like, that could have
yep,
been the five. And I'm
yep.
like, I just don't understand the difference here. It's like, if you're calling both of these fives, it's kind of like, okay, I get it. This is the standard. You can't use your knee. But it's like Gibson gets dangled and he sticks his knee out and he knees him. And I'm like, you're not calling this a five? Like, what?
Yeah, I
It
know.
just, I think it's going to be, I think we're going to be talking about the same shit in a month from now. Honestly, I
See,
do.
that scares the shit out of me, man. Because like we're gonna go from having this Four Nations last year that was so great and so energetic with the fighting and everything to we're gonna go to the Olympics and there's gonna be no consistency with some of these calls. And the last thing we need is a semifinal game or a gold medal game being decided by the refs. And like at this point, based on what I've seen for the past five World Juniors, like I could see that happening at the Olympics for sure. So I'm just praying we don't see it. Mark, let's talk about the best players though from the World Juniors so far. We're gonna do best forward, best defenseman, best goalie, similar how to the IHF does it. Starting off with best forward, I went with Anton Frondell. Mark, I know he's not the top producer here at these World Juniors, but look, the guy scored 7 goals in 6 games. He, I think he's really put Sweden on his back at points in this tournament where, like, as much as we have said Sweden's looked good this tournament, like there have been moments where they have not maybe been at their best for 5 minutes. And I feel like when that does happen, Anton Frondell goes out there, makes some sort of play, scores a goal, and he does something to kind of get them back into the game. So for me, I'm going with Anton Frondell for my best forward of the tournament. Mark, who do you have?
Yeah, there could be some bias in this pick, but honestly, dude, I think throughout the whole tournament consistently, maybe it hasn't been every game, but I honestly have loved the way Michael Hage has played. I think that
Yeah.
he has surprised me a ton too, the way that he can do it on a consistent level. Okay, this is something I wanted to talk about too. Do you are you on the side that him going back to the same move was insanity.
Yes, I am on that side.
Why?
Because it just
if you tell me if your reasoning, I'm sorry, because I'm seeing this, if your reasoning is because it didn't work the first time, there's kind of an argument. There is kind of an argument of that because he had a wide open net and there was a reason why there's a reshot, because there was a huge chance for him to score that goal if he wasn't tripped. So but here's the thing though, if he went back to that move and he scored, would you be calling him crazy?
I'd be calling him ballsy.
But the thing is, it's like, as a goalie, I'll be honest with you, I'm not necessarily anticipating and thinking he's going back to the same move.
Yeah.
So the way I'm looking at it is like, but the thing is, he actually almost scored that too. Like,
it was close.
I don't know. I get where people are coming from, but I really, given the circumstances, I don't really think it was that insane, to be honest with you, because I'm like, he literally almost scored and it worked. Like, why couldn't it work again? You know what I mean?
And I'll also say, like, when I was watching the game last night, I'm going to bump my grade down from crazy to whatever's below crazy. I can't think of it right now, but whatever's below crazy. Because I was watching the game last night, and I was like, oh man, he really went back to the same move. Like, that's kind of weird. But then I was thinking about it a bit more. Like, between the actual penalty being called and that first shot, he had like, what, a minute 30 seconds or so to kind of think about what he's doing, right? But then between the end of that first shot and the second shot, like, it's not like he had a whole lot of time to really gather himself and think about what he was going to do, right? Like, it's a massive moment in the game. Like, your head's all over the place. Like, I don't blame him for going back to the same move, but hey, if it was me, I probably would have done something different. Then again, though, I'm not playing the World Juniors and these guys are, so what do I
The way
know?
I'm kind of thinking about it too, though, is like he could have maybe even been thinking he was going back to something else, and he just felt like he didn't really have it, and the last second he just kind of decided to pull. Look, I don't think you're crazy for thinking that, but I think the theory of saying, well, it didn't work the first time is incorrect. I think it's completely incorrect, because he wouldn't have had a chance to have a second shot if it probably would have been a guaranteed goal. Right? Like, people are saying, I've never seen this situation before. And I'm like, well, yeah, because he had a wide open fucking net and he got tripped. Like honestly, it was to a point where I wasn't even sure what the rule was. And I was like, they actually might give him a goal. Like, I didn't actually know what the rule book was.
I think they probably could have gone that way, to be honest, from what we've seen at these tournaments. But yeah, I wouldn't say I'm thinking it was like crazy because he did it and it didn't work. Because, like, let's be honest, like, it did work until he got tripped. I guess it's more just like, you've already shown that to the goalie, so like, I'm not a goalie, right? Like, you'd know this better. Like, I was more wondering to myself, like, I wonder for the goalie, him just seeing that, it's like if Michael Hage is 2 to 3 moves into his shootout, if it's like almost a bit predictable, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, he just did that move, he's doing it again. Then again, like TJ Oshie, one of the best shootout guys ever, he has 3 moves in shootout, and that's it. And he
do you think it matters a bit just because the game before Bjork shot it 5 times? Like, do you think people are just looking at that being like, he didn't try to deke?
Without a doubt.
It was so fresh, right? But regardless, dude, like, besides that play, I actually think he's been super consistent throughout the tournament. That line was buzzing, and probably our most consistent line with McKenna and Martin. But I'm pretty impressed with him. He's got a very nice shot. He's pretty smart with some good playmaking instincts too. So I guess at times I'm just like, can this guy become a legit 2C in the NHL? And I'm pretty optimistic about it at this point. I
think he showed it without a doubt. Like when you got him and Michael Misa on the same team and Michael Hage is outperforming Michael Misa, I get there's a 1-year age gap there, but like, I look at that, I'm like, man, I think Michael Hage is going to be and do wonders for the Montreal Canadiens. Mark, best defenseman at the tournament. Who do you got there?
I'm going to go with my boy. I was just talking about Thomas Galvas. I know Parek's been really good, but I don't think that Galvas has really gotten the recognition that he deserves so far with this tournament. He literally has 3 goals and he's averaging an assist per game right now. I just think he's so dynamic on the blue line, and it's just crazy to me that a team wouldn't be like, fuck it, we got a 6th round pick. Let's just take a gamble on a guy that's small and can skate. And like, it's not like recently there hasn't been guys that have come up that have been successful, like Lane Hudson and stuff, right? So Quinn Hughes, like I don't know, man. I'm a huge fan of this guy. I'm honestly gonna be pushing even for the Habs to take a swing on him this year, even though we don't really need a left-handed D. But he's been very surprising for me, and I hope he doesn't go a third year here getting undrafted.
See, for me, I got to go with my boy Zane Parekh. I just look at how he played at this tournament, and I feel like it was a big tournament for him to kind of regain his confidence with how things kind of started off in the NHL for him this year, kind of being in and out the lineup with the Calgary Flames. And when I saw Zane Parekh playing, like I feel like you could really tell, and it was very noticeable with him, where it was like, yeah, like this guy, you could see that this guy was a professional and has played professional hockey before. You know what I mean? It's like all his passes were crisp. He was making the right decisions, wasn't second guessing himself at all. And like even you look at Michael Misa, right? Like Michael Misa kind of in somewhat of a similar position where he has played in the NHL a bit this year. And like I don't think Michael Misa looked great at all really in this tournament at points. I think Zane Parekh, like what he was doing with his passing and running the power play for Team Canada, I got to give him my player of the tournament. Look, he's leading the tournament right now in points as a defenseman, so I think that kind of speaks for itself a little bit right there. Last up, Mark, we got the best goalie of the tournament. Who do you go with here?
Man, one thing I kind of wanted to talk about earlier, but do you not feel like the quality of goaltending last tournament was a lot better than this tournament? Like even one
Yeah.
guy I was praising going in, like Carter George has had a pretty rough go of it this year, right? And honestly, like even that first Czech game, I'm not really. I kind of looked at all the goals and I was like, he couldn't have really done a lot, but at the same time, he could have rebounded in that Finland game, and I just felt like he was more of like a passenger than kind of taking the bull by the horns like he did last year. So this year, I'm gonna go with Herenstam on Sweden. I thought there was a couple points of this tournament where he didn't really have it, but I feel like for the most part, after he let in like a bad goal, he was really able to settle down and make big saves. Like I even looked at that OT yesterday when Bjork took that penalty. Like he made a couple very key saves to kind of keep them in it. He was nails in that shootout. I think that if they want to win tonight, he's definitely going to have to be a huge part. A huge part, you know what I mean? I think he's going to be making 30 plus saves tonight if they're going to be winning anything. I don't know if you could tell really, but I mean, like this is probably just the goalie in me in noticing this, but I actually think that he is the closest type of goalie to Tim Thomas since Tim Thomas. That he's sort of like all over the place, like not even necessarily the stack and the pads. It's like if you kind of if you watch the game tonight and watch him in his crease, he's kind of like all over the place. Like it's like opposite Dustin Wolf, Carey Price like. But I mean, it works for him, right? And it worked for Tim Thomas. But it's just crazy to see that. I think the type of style is very outdated, but he's a current goalie that's kind of making it work, right? And
Yeah.
he was a 5th-round pick. I actually believe, I don't know how good he will be, but I do believe he will make the NHL one day. I think that he's got that fight in him that matters a lot as a goaltender, and he's kind of a guy that he's never giving up on plays and stuff like that. I really love Herenstam's game.
See, for me, I'm going with the Finnish goalie, Petteri Rimponen. I think like when you look at the tournament and numbers wise, his numbers aren't the best at this tournament. But I'm looking at it, it's like, man, he played every game for Finland. And like he really held them together at points.
For the
Looking
last 2 years, not just this year.
looking back to that game yesterday, like that easily could have been a walkover for Sweden if he wasn't in goal. You know what I mean? Like even an OT, dude. Like OT could have been ended fucking 4 or 5 separate different times if he's not in goal. And then going to the shootout, like he had a couple unbelievable saves to really help them out. That first save on Frondell, man, I don't know how he saved that. Like
Yeah.
sliding to the one side and quickly sticking his other leg out to the far side post to kind of just keep the puck out there. For me, I'm going with him as my goal of the tournament based off a kind of how he played and how important he was for Finland. And also I kind of look at it and for the Swedish goalie, I feel like he has had a lot more help here at points during the tournament from the team playing in front of him. Where for Rimpinen, there's been points of this tournament where he had gotten no help whatsoever.
Yeah, the stats don't look as good as last year for
Yeah,
sure, but it's like he's a guy you got to watch and you see the battle and compete in him. Doesn't
yeah,
he seem like another guy too that it's like I could see this guy being like an NHL goalie of some sorts because it's
without a
just like
doubt.
he's tiny, but it's like the battle and compete in him. It's just like you can see that he wants it, and like he's been good in Liga, dude. The last couple of years, he was drafted when we were talking about him last year. He had already gone past his draft year and he wasn't selected. That tournament last year really
Yeah.
put him on the map, and then LA ended up taking him, I think, in the 5th round. As we're recording this, too, I don't know if you saw, but Zane Parekh just beat the tournament record for most points by a defenseman with 13 now. Canada's
Oh
currently
yeah.
up 4-2 in the second period.
My boy Zane Parekh, just after we were talking about him. But yeah, even Rimpinen, he almost like this might sound completely dumb, but he almost like his movement almost reminded me a bit of Dustin Wolf, just how quick he is in the net and how quickly he can go from sliding one way to coming back out the other way. Like it kind of reminded me of that a little bit. Then again, though, like I'm not the goalie expert. I don't watch a shit ton of goalies all the time, so you know more about that than me. But I think he is a goalie that could for sure play in the NHL at some point if he gets the chance.
And they got Carter George, too. LA's
Yeah.
actually got in a pretty good situation with goaltenders, and they even got, I don't know if you're familiar with Hampton Slipkinski. He was one of the World Junior goalies last year. I think he goes to the team that won last year. Was it
Michigan State, no?
Michigan? Michigan?
Or
No, it wasn't
Western
Michigan
Michigan,
State.
Western
Western
Michigan.
Michigan.
Yeah,
Yeah, he won it last year at Western Michigan. So LA's got a surplus of goalie
yeah.
prospects right now.
We got the Olympic rosters, Mark. Those were announced in what was that, New Year's Eve or New Year's Day? Just around New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, the Olympic rosters for the 2026 Olympics were all announced, and there's a lot of star players all over those rosters. But on the other side, there are a fair bit of star players who are going to be watching the Olympics from home this year. Mark, we're going to go through the big four teams and give one snub for each team. Getting things started off, we got Canada, and I went with Jacob Chikrin. Look, I think it is crazy that Team Canada is going to the Olympics with the same 8 defensemen that they went to the Four Nations face-off with when you got Jacob Chikrin playing how he's playing. The guy scored 27 goals the past 2 years, and he's about to do it for a third time here, and he'll probably crack 30 this year. Like, when I look at Jacob Chikrin and I compare him to a guy like Travis Sanheim, maybe Travis Sanheim's a great locker room guy, whatever he is, right? I would say Jacob Chikrin is better in almost every aspect of hockey than Travis Sanheim is. I don't know if that's a crazy thing to say, but like I think Jacob Chikrin is great offensively. I think he's reliable defensively. Like I wouldn't say he's a massive shutdown guy, but I also wouldn't say he's a liability like Evan Bouchard can be at points, right? I don't get how Jacob Chikrin isn't on this roster. I think he could play anywhere, like anywhere in your three pairings. I would take him if I was Canada. Who's your first snub, Mark?
Definitely not too bad of a pick. I'm gonna go with Sam Bennett.
Yeah.
Actually, I was pushing pretty hard for him to make the team. I know I'm not most fond on him and his contract we've talked about in the past, but I just look at it and I'm like, he made the team last year, which was, I mean, at the time, like, I mean, we were a little surprised, even though they had won a cup. Like, he wasn't the playoff MVP before the Four
Yeah.
Nations, right? He goes there. He's not playing every game, but he plays a key role, scores a huge goal in the finals. And it's like, what has he done since then? Well, he won another cup and he was the playoff MVP. I just cannot believe that they couldn't find a spot for him.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think it is really surprising that that he's not going. You got to think that he's going to be one of the first guys called. No, like depending
Well,
on who is actually getting hurt, but like up front, like he's got to be up there.
I I think he's up there. I think it's one of those things like Doug Wilson was saying kind of during the press conference where they got a list of guys here and kind of it really depends on who gets injured, right? Like if you got like a guy like Macklin Celebrini getting injured, like I wouldn't say Sam Bennett's the first choice maybe there to fill Macklin Celebrini's role, but Tom Wilson, I believe he got injured his first game after getting like nod for Team Canada, but like if Tom Wilson goes down, like I think Sam Bennett would be the number one guy to call to fill that Tom Wilson role, to be honest. Like I am a bit surprised that he didn't make the roster, but I think with Team Canada just looking at maybe how like you can't fight and with how maybe some of these physicality rules are going, like I wonder if Team Canada was like Sam bringing Sam Bennett to the Olympics, a big part of why you would want to bring him would be his physicality, and that's probably the biggest asset to his game, right? Like people fear against playing Sam Bennett, where I think Team Canada might have been looking at it like he won't even really be able to display that at the tournament with how the rules and how the officiating is. So I do wonder if that was kind of a big factor into not bringing him, but I'm all with you, man. Like if somebody gets injured, I could see him being one of the first call-ups to that team. Moving on to our neighbors down south, Mark, who's your big snub for them?
Yeah, I think they had a couple of surprising picks and even guys that they kept on their team from last year that I didn't think that they were going to. But I'm gonna go with Jason Robertson, bro. I just I don't understand what else this guy needs to do to make this team. Like,
Yeah.
he's top 10 in points right now in the league. Like he's on pace for 40 goals. Like Guerin wants to go with the methodology of not really bringing smaller players, but he still brought Clayton Keller. I don't really understand what's really going on with that. But Jason Robertson's a big guy. I understand that the skating isn't the greatest at times, but dude, the rink's also smaller. You can put him with guys that can skate. I think I'll be honest with you. I think out of any team, and I'm looking at anyone who didn't make a team, I actually think this is the biggest snub of them all.
I'm all on board with that, dude. I'm all on board. I don't even think it's close. Like I think it's without a doubt the biggest snub. Mark, my guy for Team USA, I went with Adam Fox. I'm looking at it. Adam Fox is a point per game defenseman right now. He can run a first power play. Like I get there are maybe some weaknesses to his game defensively, but I'm just looking at it and it's like you're bringing Seth Jones over this guy. Adam Fox is a Norris winning defenseman. Like what are we doing? What are we doing here? The other thing too that really kind of I find it surprising about this is that the head coach of Team USA is the head coach of the New York Rangers in the NHL. Like how is there not the fit
And the and
there?
the, and the GM of his team is the assistant GM of Team
Yeah.
USA.
Like look, I can get it if you bring Adam Fox over and maybe you're sitting him out a game or two, right? Because you just don't need him in for that game. I can understand that, but not even bringing him over there to me is crazy. Like if Quinn Hughes goes down, Adam Fox is probably the next guy up to run the power play that I would want personally. Like I really just don't see the logic in not bringing him.
Maybe Werenski, to be quite honest with you.
Maybe Werenski as well, but like it's not. I wouldn't say it's like a massive discrepancy, right? And then who's running your second power play?
No, it's just Werenski's more like mobile.
Yeah,
Like Fox is a little bit slower. But I'm gonna be honest. I think I'm honestly probably a bigger Adam Fox fan than you are for the most part because
yeah,
I actually think he's very solid defensively. I don't really think there's a lot of defensive flaws in his game. I think that he just kind of made a couple mistakes on a big stage last year, and it he got hated on. When I just said that I thought Jason Robertson was the biggest snub of them all. Right when I said it, I actually was like, it actually might be Adam Fox. Like,
pretty close.
you're talking about Seth Jones. Honestly, I never really thought about that. I was more like, why the fuck is Noah Hannafin on this team? That was one guy
Yeah,
that I could not believe they brought back. I
yeah,
was like, there are better options. You're telling me Lane Hudson couldn't make this team over Noah Hannafin?
yep,
He's probably fucking better defensively. Because I don't know if you saw yesterday, but Lane Hudson was playing Jamie Benn pretty fucking good, and they're talking about he's too small to play. Like I don't understand this. One thing I wanted to say about Adam Fox, since 2019, 2020, in accordance to NHL defenseman, Cale Makar, 333 games, 379 points. Quinn Hughes, 339 games, 342 points. Ranked third, Adam Fox,
yep,
334 games, 308 points.
yeah. Like I don't get
I'm
how
going to be honest with you, and this might be a hot take. I think Adam Fox is a top 8 defenseman in the NHL, and the fact that they don't even think he's a top 8 defenseman on Team USA is ludicrous.
I think without a doubt he's a top 8 defenseman in the NHL.
I think it's honestly to the point where if you don't win the Olympics, I would go. I have nothing against Billy Guerin, and I actually think he's a great GM, but I think you could go down a different route.
I honestly think you can make an argument even that Adam Fox is a top 5 defenseman in the NHL, dude. Like the guy's a Norris winning defenseman. I feel like part of the issue with Adam Fox maybe not getting enough recognition is just how bad the Rangers have been the last couple seasons, right? But like, he's still a phenomenal defenseman.
Do you think this could like ruin the relationship almost in the Rangers, like it kind of did with St. Louis and like Steve Yzerman?
I'm gonna lie, I'm way too young for that. I don't really because what
That was the I think it was the 14.
oh,
Oh,
the
fuck,
14
was it?
Olympics? No.
Because Yzerman was the GM of Tampa and St. Louis was there, and then it kind of like he didn't originally get selected, and then I think he ended up going as a replacement, but he was super pissed about it, and then he ended up asking for a trade, and then he went to the Rangers. I don't know if it was 14 or 10. I don't know.
I don't think St. Louis was in the league in 2014, was he?
Yeah, he knocked the Habs out in the conference finals in 2014.
Here.
Oh God, yeah, it was 20. He was on Tampa Bay in 2013. He was on Tampa Bay in 2013.
Yeah, no, I do not remember that for some reason, to be honest. I guess,
but that's exactly what happened. So he didn't get named to the team, and I think he went as a replacement. But he was so pissed that he didn't make the team that he like basically asked for a trade.
Yeah, I could see it with Adam Fox. Like the only thing,
if shit doesn't get turned around soon, maybe.
And we've already seen him ask for a trade 3 times. Twice.
Yeah, the thing was, this was the place he really wanted to go, right? So,
moving on to a Team Sweden, Mark. Let's get things started off with you. Who's your biggest snub? Because mine is a bit of a homer pick, maybe.
Okay. Okay, I have a little bit of a theory on this. I think that if I'm looking at a player overall, I kind of think William Eklund got snubbed a bit, but the way I'm also looking at it is when I'm looking at their lines, I'm not quite sure he has a role on their team, but I actually think the biggest snub, and I'm really surprised he didn't make it, was Ekholm.
Yeah.
I think a guy that's been to back-to-back cup finals, I get he probably is even playing a third pair role for you. I'm just very surprised you couldn't have figured out a spot for him on the team.
Yeah, I'm all with you on that, man. Like, he's a veteran guy. I don't get how he's not on that team personally. For me, I went with kind of a similar pick as you did. I went with Michael Backlund. Like, I get back.
Oh, dude.
Towards the end.
I agree.
Yeah, he's like towards the end of his career, similar as Ekholm. Like, you're not maybe getting the biggest production from him, but like, look, you're telling me you don't want Michael Backlund coming over and playing 4th line centerman for you. He's great penalty killer, great defensively, great in the face-off dot. Like, I don't get it, man.
Here's the one thing I will say, because he's getting a lot of hate. I actually think Pontus Holmberg is a super underrated defensive forward. I'm telling you right now, though, dude, I don't understand how the fuck you're taking him over Backlund. Like, Backlund's just as good or better defensively. Like, I don't like it, because I want to say that about Holmberg. It's like people are shitting on him being like an AHLer made the team, and I'm like, I don't agree with that statement. I think he's a quality 4th line player in the NHL, right? Like, and he is very good defensively, but I'm also looking at it like, bro, you didn't take Michael Backlund, really? Like, I'm looking at these big nations, and it's like we almost took guys on our team, like, in Canada and the U.S., where it's like Bo Horvat's having a hell of a season, but they're looking at him as like he's going to be the best face-off guy. You know what I mean? Vincent Trocheck with the U.S. It's like you can have that if you're Sweden. Like, you're talking about, we're looking at a lineup where William Eklund's not even going to fit in the lineup. Like, I don't care if you take a 4th line center. Michael Backlund doesn't have to play every fucking game, dude.
Yeah, and like for me, just to kind of my stat here, just to show how reliable he is defensively. is he plays on the Calgary Flames right now, who can't fucking score the goal whatsoever and lose a fair bit of hockey games right now, right? I think that'd be safe to say. Michael Backlund so far this season is plus 18 as a penalty killer on the Calgary Flames. How the fuck are you going to look at that and tell me that this guy's not reliable defensively? Like, I don't get how he's not on the team personally. Like, I get Pontus Holmberg might be pretty good defensively, but I think Michael Backlund is probably better defensively and better offensively, and a veteran player as well. So, makes no sense to me.
It sucks because it's probably his last opportunity, right?
Yeah, without
And
a doubt.
it's just it's kind of confusing to me that they went down that route.
Moving on to the last nation here, Mark, we got Finland. I'll be honest, dude, it was kind of tough to find a snub here from this team for me personally. I wouldn't say this is a massive snub, but I'm guess maybe it's just somewhat surprising that they weren't named to the team. I went with Jesperi Kotkaniemi. I don't think like looking at the roster, it's like holy shit, how did this guy get left off the team? I guess more my thought process here and why I'm kind of looking at it is with no Barkov at the Olympics this year, I feel like you're kind of lacking a bit of centerman on this Finnish team, at least in the bottom half of your lineup, right? I, I think I think with Kotkaniemi, it's like if he's there, he can sit out some games. If somebody gets injured, you put him in at fourth line centerman. I'm a bit surprised they didn't go that option, but I can see he's not having a great season. I can understand on the other side why they're not bringing him to the Olympics. Who did you go with for this team?
Yeah, I kind of the one thing I will say about the centerman thing, yeah, it is different without Barkov, but I mean, they also Granlund's a guy that could play center, right? And like they've also got the full four other guys plus Eric Holla too. So I don't really think it's that insane that they didn't go with him for like not being a center. Um,
I just
I'm just gonna go with. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just more looking at it, it's like all those guys there that are like I'd say they're all should be playing within your top six, except for Eric Holla, right? But like all the centermen they have,
No, I'd say
probably
not
going to
Oliver
Olympics.
Kapanen, not Kapanen.
I agree. I agree with the captain. Like,
See, I felt that it was either going to be Kapanen or Kakaniemi. That's
yeah,
just the way I saw it, and I was like, I think they made the right choice. Non-bias. I think he's actually
yeah.
having a pretty good season, but that's just the way I saw it in the end. Honestly, dude, I'm gonna go with Line in the sense that I believe they made this call because of the injury, but like there's been nothing ruled out that he couldn't be
Yeah.
healthy. Like it would be the Olympics is about at the 3.5 month mark for and I think it was a 3 to 4 month injury. So obviously there's a possibility he doesn't, but there's been real no updates and he's actually been skating. So I don't think it's a massive snub by any means, but I mean like he actually did somewhat produce at the Four Nations last year. So
Yeah.
I just don't understand why you can't name him and then change it unless
Yeah.
it's more
That's
like you don't want to piss someone off, like you know what I mean, but I don't really think it's that much of a snub, to be honest. But I even saw when he got hurt. I was reading a tweet today. It said that he could. There's a strong possibility he'd be ready before the Olympics.
I I just look at it for him and I'm like, man, like you should just probably name him and if he can't play, just fill that spot and like I'd rather have him like I'd rather do that than not name him and then all of a sudden it's like he's healthy and he can play and he comes back and let's say like his first 4 games back with the Habs, he has 5 goals. You're gonna be Team Finland, you're gonna be looking at it like, ooh, maybe we should have just named him to the roster. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
little
100%. And
confusing.
it's like they're not the deepest team, right? Like they could use that guy that
Yeah.
can just help you get an extra goal. You know what I mean? Especially like on the power play when you don't even have Barkov now either.
Yep. Moving on to the final segment of the show, Mark. We got our trivia segment. I'll get things started for you because my trivia kind of ties into today's episode. I'm pulling up my timer right now, so give me a quick second here. Mark, you got a minute 30 seconds, and I want you to name the past 5 forwards of the tournament at the World Juniors. So it starts 2021 and then 2025. Last year's World Juniors is the last year. Let me know when you're ready and I'll start the timer.
Yeah, you're good to go.
Okay, timer starts now.
So 2020 to 20, or sorry, 21 to 25. Okay,
Yep.
Bedard for sure.
Bedard, yep, 2023.
I don't Celebrini. I feel like he didn't get it though because they didn't go far, right?
Celebrini, no.
Um, Ryan Leonard or Will Smith.
Ryan Leonard won it last year.
Um, Dylan Gunther. I know that was Bedard's
Nope,
year. Um, Leo Carlson.
no.
Holy shit, I am blanking. Who was USA's forward of the tournament 2 years ago? Gabe Perreault? No, I don't think he
No.
ever got it right. So I've got two. I got Bedard and Ryan Leonard.
Yep.
Ryan Leonard was last year. Bedard would have been 2 years before that. So
You got
I'm missing one in the
2025 to
middle.
2023.
Yeah, I'm missing 24, which would have been that's Celebrini's draft year. But Canada got bounced so early that year. Oh, Cutter Gauthier?
Yes, Cutter Gauthier.
Um,
We're
and
missing
then
21
earlier
and
than
22
that,
now.
Kate, no, Akil Thomas, he got the winning goal. He did not win forward of the tournament.
That was like
Um,
2018, I think, when he was playing.
fuck. Yeah, Russia was in the tournament, I think. I'm blanking earlier. Did Lafreniere? No, that's too late.
Okay, time's up, Mark. I'll give you one last guess here.
Fuck, dude, I have no clue. I honestly have no idea. No clue.
So 2021 forward of the tournament, Tim Stützle. And then the 2022 forward of the tournament, Mason McTavish. Those were the two you were missing.
Fuck. Fuck, I was thinking McTavish too, but I
Yeah.
said Gunther.
I kind of forgot.
All the guys, I just felt like it was too close or too far. I was just kind of out of the age range at that point.
The Lafreniere one was 2020, so you were like 1 year early on it.
Yeah, I was thinking that when he got drafted. When you said Stutzel, I was like, what the fuck? Wasn't he drafted way earlier than that? But no, he was not at all.
Mark,
Alrighty,
what
I'm
is my
going now
trivia?
with we're gonna go back to the Olympics of when the last time the NHL guys were there.
2014.
2014, Canada won the gold medal that year. I want you to name. There's a little bit of a loophole on this that I'll give you. The top 5 scorers of the tournament,
Yep.
but I will, to be fair, from 4 to 9, it's technically a tie. I mean, the games played matter, but from 4 to 9, they have the same amount of points.
Okay.
So if you mention any of the guys, I'll give it to you, even if they're
Okay.
outside of the top 5. But if they have the same amount of points,
Watch me name
I'm just
just
gonna get
those
my.
guys and nobody else.
I'll give it to you. If you can get 5 of them, we'll stop the clock. Let me know when you're ready to go. So 2014 top 5 scorers of the tournament.
All right, I'm ready.
You're going.
I'm gonna go Patty Kane,
No.
Jonathan Toews,
No.
Sidney Crosby,
Nope.
Patrice Bergeron.
No.
Holy fuck, Drew Doughty.
I'll give you a hint. There's 2 Canadians. The leading scorer was a 2-way tie between an American and a Swede.
American Swede. Daniel Sedin,
Nope.
Henrik Sedin.
Nope.
Oh my god. Ryan Getzlaf. I don't even know if he was at those Olympics.
No. Holy shit. This is harder than I thought.
Chris Kunitz.
No. There is a American, a Swede, a Finn, a Latvian, another Finn, a Canadian,
Oh, Phil
2
Kessel?
Russians, and a Canadian. Yep. Phil Kessel led the tournament in scoring.
Yeah.
2 Russians, 2 Canadians, 2 Finns, and then a Swede and a Latvian. I think it's
Oh,
Latvian.
Ovechkin,
Nope.
Malkin.
Nope.
Fuck, eh?
You got 15 seconds.
Was it Gimlet at those Olympics? I don't think he was.
He's not on the
Yeah.
list. Hints, 2 guys are current NHLers.
2 guys are current NHLers.
3 guys, actually. You're past a minute and a half. I'll give you one more guess.
One more guess. I'm going to go with Alfredson. It might be a brutal guess, but
no. Dude, I actually, now that I'm looking at this list, I feel like this is really hard. So Kessel and Erik Karlsson led the tournament with 8 points in 6 games.
Not thinking defenseman.
I did not know this. Third, Mikael Granlund had 7 points in 6 games. That's 11 years ago.
Yeah. I was thinking guys that are out of the league, you know what I mean?
Fourth was Michael Grabner. He had 6 in 4 games. Fifth, I feel like you might punch yourself with this one. Teemu Selanne. He had 6 points in 4 games. Sixth, Drew Doughty had 6 and 6. Alexander Radulov had 6 and 5. Shea Weber had 6 and 6. And then you might kick yourself with this one too. Pavel Datsyuk had 6 and 6. Those are the 2 that I thought you were going to guess. I thought you were going to think maybe Datsyuk or Teemu Selanne, but I mean, that is a bit difficult. And honestly, I was like, Drew Doughty and Shea Weber had the most points for Canada at this tournament. Because I remember I pulled this list up and I remembered there wasn't a lot of goals. Like, remember Canada won like 2-1, 1-0, like, and then, but I was like, really? I was like, Drew Doughty and Shea Weber? The highest forward was Jeff Carter with 5.
See, I was trying to think of, like for Teemu Selanne, I was actually like, I was kind of thinking about guessing him, but I was like, no, he's too old. He was like he was done by that point.
He was about 40.
Because for me, I look at 2014. I think 2014 was like 5 years ago, but it's actually been 12 years. So that whole time concept of time is absolutely fucked in my head.
To be completely fair, your guesses were like accurate in accordance to like players of the tournament, though. Like Getzlav, Crosby, and Malkin had 3 points in the tournament. Like the Sedins had 4 points in the tournament. You're just a little bit off with it. Even like, dude, JVR had a good tournament. He had 5 points in 6 games. Like, it's kind of crazy that only 4 guys eclipsed over a point per game in this tournament.
Yeah. Especially considering like where hockey was at that point, because I feel like that's kind of around where you started to see higher scoring games, you know what I mean? Like you were kind of getting into the era of higher scoring and more entertaining, but that might
to put the tournament into perspective, 10 teams at the tournament, 25 different goalies at least appeared in a game, and 17 of the 25 goalies had a 911 save percentage or better.
Right, like that's crazy. Well, I think Carey Price had back-to-back shutouts those Olympics?
Carey Price went 5-0, 3 goals against, and a 972 save percentage.
Yeah, that's nasty.
And Luongo played 1 game and had a shutout.
Just running your third string and they're getting shutouts. Overall, though, that's going to wrap up today's episode of the Point2Point NHL Recap Show. We'll be back on next week. Each week we're getting closer to the Olympics and trade deadline, so we'll have more and more news. So stay tuned for that. But for everybody tuning in right now, thanks for tuning in.